On March 15, 1311, the Catalan Company, a group of mercenaries, defeated the forces of the Duchy of Athens led by Walter V at Halmyros in southern Thessaly. This decisive victory allowed the Catalans to take control of the Duchy of Athens, ruling parts of Greece until the 1380s. In 1564, Emperor Akbar of the Mughal Empire abolished the jizya tax, which was a levy imposed on non-Muslim subjects. This move was part of Akbar's policy of religious tolerance and efforts to integrate diverse communities within his empire. On March 15, 1672, King Charles II of England issued the Royal Declaration of Indulgence, granting limited religious freedom to all Christians. This declaration aimed to suspend penal laws against Catholics and Protestant dissenters, reflecting the king's attempt to promote religious tolerance. In 1823, sailor Benjamin Morel reported the existence of an island near Antarctica, which he named New South Greenland. However, subsequent explorations failed to confirm its existence, and it was later determined that the island did not exist. On March 15, 1874, France and Vietnam signed the Second Treaty of Saigon, further recognizing the full sovereignty of France over Cochin China. This treaty solidified French colonial rule in the region, marking a significant step in the expansion of French Indochina. On March 15, 1877, the first official cricket test match was played between Australia and England at the Melbourne Cricket Ground, MCG, in Melbourne, Australia. This match marked the beginning of Test cricket, establishing a format that continues to be a cornerstone of the sport. In 1888, the Anglo-Tibetan War began, marking a period of conflict between the British Empire and Tibet. The war was primarily over disputes concerning the Sikkim-Tibet border and resulted in the British reaffirming their influence in the region. On March 15, 1917, amidst the February Revolution, Tsar Nicholas II of Russia abdicated the throne, ending the 304-year Romanov dynasty. This event led to significant political upheaval and paved the way for the Bolshevik Revolution later that year. In 1918, during the Finnish Civil War, the Battle of Tampere began. This battle was a significant conflict between the Red Guards and the White Guards, ultimately leading to a victory for the Whites and influencing the outcome of the Civil War. In 1919, during the Ukrainian War of Independence, the Kontrrazvedka was established as the counterintelligence division of the Revolutionary Insurgent Army of Ukraine. This organization played a role in the broader struggle for Ukrainian independence during a tumultuous period in the region. On March 15, 1919, the American Legion was founded in Paris by members of the American Expeditionary Forces. This organization aimed to support veterans and promote patriotism, becoming one of the largest veteran service organizations in the United States. In 1922, following Egypt's nominal independence from the United Kingdom, Fuad I became the King of Egypt. His reign marked the beginning of the Kingdom of Egypt, a period characterized by efforts toward modernization and navigating the complexities of partial sovereignty. On March 15, 1927, the inaugural women's boat race took place on the Isis in Oxford. The crews were judged on both style and speed, rowing downstream for style and upstream for speed over a course of approximately half a mile. Oxford won the race in a time of 3 minutes 36 seconds, beating Cambridge by 15 seconds. On March 15, 1939, Carpatho-Ukraine declared its independence from Czechoslovakia, with Avustin Voloshin as president. However, the republic's independence was short-lived, as Hungarian forces invaded and annexed the territory the following day, on March 16, 1939. In March 1943, during World War II, German forces launched a counteroffensive against the Soviet Red Army, retaking the city of Kharkiv in Ukraine. This battle, known as the Third Battle of Kharkiv, resulted in significant casualties on both sides and temporarily halted the Soviet advance. On March 15, 1951, the Iranian parliament, led by Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh, voted to nationalize the country's oil industry. This move aimed to end British control over Iran's oil resources and was a pivotal moment in the country's modern history, leading to increased tensions with the United Kingdom. At the Commonwealth Prime Ministers' Conference on March 15, 1961, South Africa announced its decision to withdraw from the Commonwealth of Nations. This decision came amid growing international criticism of the country's apartheid policies and followed a referendum in which white South Africans voted to become a republic. On March 15, 1965, in response to the events in Selma, Alabama, President Lyndon B. Johnson delivered a speech to the U.S. Congress advocating for the Voting Rights Act. In his address, he used the phrase, "We shall overcome," aligning himself with the civil rights movement and emphasizing the need for federal legislation to protect voting rights. In March 1978, Somalia and Ethiopia agreed to a truce, effectively ending the Ethio-Somali War. The conflict had centered around the Ogaden region, with both nations seeking control. The truce led to the withdrawal of Somali forces from the disputed area. On March 15, 1991, the treaty on the final settlement with respect to Germany became effective, granting full sovereignty to the Federal Republic of Germany. This treaty, signed by both Germany's and the four powers, the United States, the Soviet Union, the United Kingdom, and France, paved the way for German reunification. In March 2011, protests erupted in Syria as part of the wider Arab Spring movement. The government's harsh response to these demonstrations led to escalating violence, eventually developing into a full-scale civil war that has continued for over a decade, resulting in significant loss of life and displacement. In March 2019, large-scale protests began in Hong Kong in response to a proposed extradition bill. The movement evolved to encompass broader demands for democratic reforms and police accountability, leading to prolonged demonstrations and significant political unrest in the region. On March 15, 2019, approximately 1.4 million young people across 123 countries participated in strikes to protest climate change. Inspired by Swedish activist Greta Thunberg's Fridays for Future movement, these demonstrations called for urgent action to address environmental issues and reduce carbon emissions. In March 2022, widespread protests erupted in Sri Lanka amidst a severe economic crisis. Citizens took to the streets to express dissatisfaction with the government's handling of the economy, leading to shortages of essential goods, fuel, and medicine, and prompting calls for political reform.